Now we will be going over the nasal and oral cavities of the face. To start off, the nasal cavity shown here, here's the nose. When air comes in, it's going to be filtered through three different concha. We've got the superior nasal concha, the middle nasal concha, and the inferior nasal concha. Next, towards the back of the nose, shown here, is going to be torus tubarius, which is kind of a horseshoe-shaped structure. And in the center of that is the auditory hiatus. The auditory hiatus is the opening that's coming from the auditory tube that begins in the ear. When you get to the back of the nasal area, this is called the nasal pharynx. Moving down, shown here, where the oral cavity and the pharynx come together, is the oropharynx. Next, just to orient yourself, here are the lips and then the opening to the mouth. This here is the hard palate, so the top of your mouth. The hard palate is made up of two separate bones. The more anterior section is going to be the maxilla, and the more posterior section is going to be the palatine bones. The hard palate continues on and then turns into the soft palate, shown here. The end of the soft palate is called the uvula, shown here. The uvula is the part of the mouth that hangs down when you open your mouth and look at the back of your throat. Shown here is the tongue. The muscle of the tongue is the genioglossus. Down below the genioglossus, shown here, is going to be geniohyoid, and then shown here is going to be mylohyoid. Both mylohyoid and geniohyoid are going and attaching to the hyoid bone, shown here. Next, as we start getting into the pharynx, where it merges with the trachea in the pharyngeal area, here in turquoise is going to be the epiglottis that cuts off the trachea, so food only goes down the esophagus. Shown here is going to be the vocal cords. The top ones, which are the false vocal cords, are also called the vestibular folds, shown here. And then underneath, shown here, are the true vocal cords, which is what you actually use to speak. These are also called the ventricular folds. So ventricular folds are the true vocal cords.